Hey guys, this is Ghost. Welcome back. I know piloting the attack helicopter in Battlefield 6 has been really frustrating for a lot of us. So I wanted to make this video to share with you what I use in terms of the setup, the controller settings, the loadout, and basically the way I run my attack heli gameplay. Now keep in mind that I'm not one of those professional attack heli pilots out there in Battlefield 6. I'm just an average player just like you. But it happens that I probably play attack heli a little bit more than you do, and I also create content around it, so there's that. And let's get started. How about that? So first, I want to talk about the loadout. So if we go to the loadout over here, we choose the attack heli. So the loadout, you got two different kinds of rockets, and then you have equipment, okay? And then the gunner will have a fixed loadout. You can't change this one, actually. So the primary rockets, I usually use the heavy rockets. There are four. I think there are four. Yes, there are four. And they're actually pretty strong. I mean, you only need two of them to destroy enemy chopper, chasing you, or like when you face it, you know what I mean? And they are actually pretty strong against tanks and armored vehicles, but they will not destroy a tank completely. They will damage it pretty good though. And every now and then I use light rockets. You get 12 with those light rockets, and they are not as strong as the heavy rockets. I mean, obviously from the name. But these are pretty strong if you want to go for like only infantry, hunting infantry only, you know what I mean? For the secondary, usually I go for the anti-air because I want to drop, as many enemy choppers and planes or jets as possible. And I haven't really mastered the aim-guided ones. I mean, the TOM missiles, these are like pretty rough, especially like for, PlayStation and Xbox. But I mean, I don't know if it's just, the console, or is it just me? I don't know. Maybe it's a skill issue. You never know, right? Now, moving on to the equipment. For number one equipment, you have the flares, which is something you can't change, okay? You will have to come in with this one. For equipment 2, I sometimes stay with the target detection radar. This basically gives you kind of all the enemy around you. For example, if you click it and then you will find, on your minimap, you have like infantry like down below, you can just, turn around and shoot them. But I found it pretty handy to have the emergency repair, because if you get shot by another chopper, you can just click this one here, and then you will have like a quick increase in health, so you can make a maneuver or whatnot and take out the enemy. For upgrade, I usually stay with interference, basically, delay the lock-on missiles on you. The radar system, this one increases the radius around you to detect vehicles. The heavy warheads actually increases the radius of and lethality of your primary weapon. And improved armor just makes you a little bit stronger, but I did not see that much difference when I equipped it. Okay, now let's talk about the settings, but I want you to understand a few things before we dive in. So you can go ahead and copy paste what I have for the settings, but I want you to understand why, or what's the point behind them and why I have them the way they are. Once you understand them and you understand what they do, you will have the ability to kind of modify them to, based on your gameplay style. So if you click on settings, we go ahead to heli settings over here, helicopter settings. But before we go into the controller settings, these are three things over here. I did not change a thing about them, okay? So I left everything the way they are. And I'm comfortable with actually the buttons and all of that. So if you go back to controller settings over here, you click on it, you will get the pilot, and you have the aim, and you will have also the zoom. Motion sensors are not a big deal. Flick look, they're not a big deal as well, but you can copy these numbers as well. But let's go ahead and start with the pilot. Helicopter control assist, I have it on off, and you should have it off as well. Helicopter control sensitivity, I have it at 130. This is actually the sensitivity of the whole chopper moving left and right, up and down, when you're controlling it in third person view. My advice to you is you have to modify this based on your gameplay style. So if you're someone who wants to go and chase every single enemy on the map, you have to increase this from 130 to 200 to get that best or quicker maneuverability. But if you want like a chill pace and you want to be like just around kind of spotting enemies and then go and destroy them and then come back to your base, then the number of this sensitivity I think would be between 100 and 130. But you should definitely change it and see how you like it, whether you have to go up or you go down. Invert vertical flight aircraft on. Invert vertical look, I have it off. The reason I have the vertical flight inverted, because I just got used to it inverted. You don't have to stick with it. I mean, this is not essential. You have to kind of turn it off and on based on the way you run your helicopter, okay? The vehicle aim sensitivity is how fast your cursor when you're inside the chopper, moving left and right, up and down. This is not the sensitivity when you're like in the third person. This is completely from inside the chopper, and this one is very crucial. You have to know what is your number. My number is 14, and by the way, when you change this number, it changes everywhere else on the other vehicles. I'm talking about the tanks, I'm talking about the transport vehicles, and also the jets. I don't know, for me, I found it sometimes a little bit, hard to have like, higher number here, because, I kind of miss shooting at target. So I kept dropping it and dropping it until I got to this number between like 14 and 16, and then I kind of felt that I am in control and I can shoot exactly what I want my rockets to go. I've seen a lot of people put it on a 20 and they're comfortable with it, but for me, I don't know, I dropped it to 14. Vehicle third person field of view, I have it on the highest, which is 83, and you probably want to do the same because you want to see your whole helicopter when you're like in the third person. Gunner aim sensitivity, I have it on 58, and I found this is my sweet spot, but it might be different to you. But I would, jump on the chopper, be a gunner, not the pilot, and see what's the sensitivity look like for you. Vertical aim ratio, I recently changed it from 55 to 60, and I felt more comfortable with this number here. Vertical zoom aim ratio, I have it on 178, which is almost the highest. Uniform vehicle aiming, I have it off. And if you don't have the zoom sensitivity coefficient at 178, then you go ahead and turn this one on and then change this one to this number, 178, then go ahead and turn it off. Now, the input curves are basically up to you. I mean, if you played, prior games and you got used to like certain input curve, then you can change it to the game that you played from before. I found it easier to use Battlefield 1, and also the other option is Battlefield 3. But if I was you, just starting to kind of modify these control settings, I would keep it at Battlefield 3, okay? The vehicle zoom aim input curve also would keep it at Battlefield 3. For the vehicle stick input acceleration preset, actually you can go ahead and change it to the other one that is Battlefield 2042. In my opinion, I think this is a good start for you because this will give you a vehicle aiming left and right acceleration around 50. But keep in mind, all of these, curves, numbers, and sensitivities, you have to kind of modify them one at a time. Don't change 2 or 3 of them, at the same time, and then you go ahead and jump in the game and trying to see how that affects your chopper. I would pick one and change it, and then go ahead and jump in the game, see how that feels, and then go ahead and modify it there. Moving on to zoom, I have the vehicle weapon zoom and hold, and I have the gunner zoom at L2 and also the helicopter zoom at L2 as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it. These are the controllers. Now we're going to go ahead and I'm going to show you how to kind of maneuver your chopper a little bit and how to aim and shoot. What I usually do, I just go to community and then browse servers and then find something like this one here, jets and helicopter training, and then go ahead and host it for myself, put a password so nobody would join me, and then go ahead and host it. All right, so we'll go ahead and get one of these choppers over here. Let's get this one over here. So I would do this multiple times, until you really know how to move the chopper. Because I see a lot of people, the minute they jump into the chopper, and they, ascend up a little bit and then they just turn right or left and then they drop and, get destroyed completely. So basically you can go up, you can go down, you can go right and left and flank right as well. You kind of maneuver, try to get used to kind of how to fly it, to be honest with you, before you even shoot anything. I would also kind of try to learn how to land it safely without any damage or destroying it completely. Because if you master landing it, if you get hit and you land it and then you have an engineer, you can completely go ahead and kind of repair it. But anyway, since the control sensitivity that we set it to 130, this is what it does, moving left and right, up and down, and kind of trying to aim. But if you go inside the vehicle, the number 14 sensitivity that we just did a little bit ago, this is what it does, moving left and right here, up and down here. Also, this is something that you might want to play with a little bit before you jump in any game. I would go inside the chopper and kind of fly it without third person and kind of be comfortable with it, you know what I mean? Now, when it comes to your rockets, if you see my crosshair, the plus sign in the middle of the screen, and there is a line next to it, right? The vertical line. Your rockets actually will go in the center of that vertical line. It would not follow your crosshair. And that's actually a mistake that I've seen a lot of people make. They think, the crosshair, the plus sign is where the rockets go, but that's wrong. The rockets actually go and follow the vertical line like here. See that? There you go. And when using the anti-air rockets, actually you don't have to go inside the vehicle to kind of aim. You can just stay in third person. One other thing that I wanted to mention, actually, if you see a chopper, enemy chopper or a vehicle, you spot it from a distance, you don't have to be inside your chopper to chase it or, you know, go all the way to destroy it while you're like inside your chopper. And instead, I would stay in third person view like this, and then once you get closer to them, you know, go ahead inside your chopper or first person, and then you can shoot. One more tip I wanted to mention, if you use your flares and you get another lock on, use any cover around you to hide behind it, and then you will get rid of any rockets following you or any lock on. Also, another way to get rid of, you know, the lock on missiles or rockets is to get pretty low and kind of like this, but be careful not to kind of get all the way down and destroy your vehicle. Also, if you go pretty low and you have a lock on rocket on you, you can just, you know, land it safely real quick, and then you can exit it and the locked missile will go away. But yeah, this is pretty cool servers, or, you know, maps, or, you know, experiences. You can find it available. You can host it, get one of the choppers from the other base and come to this base over here and kind of destroy any vehicle that you want. So what I would do is, you know, come here and kind of train for a little bit, you know, kind of get to know how to maneuver and how to shoot exactly at other vehicles before you jump into a real game. Now, I'm going to share with you a few clips of my gameplay, and I'm going to show you how I managed to shoot the targets that I was successful in destroying. And you will have an idea of what the gameplay for console would look like, because to be honest with you, they're pretty different. It's pretty different than PC. And in my opinion, I think it's harder to run the attack heli on controller or PS5, you know, rather than running it on PC. And that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you're going to enjoy these clips, and let me know what you think about the video. I hope it was beneficial to you, and I hope I was just straight to the point without any BS. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe to help the channel. Until the next one, cheers and have a good day.